And now, here is Coretta Mcdonald, Member of Parliament and host of Advancing the Cause.
Well, hello, good evening to you, and I'm happy to have you here. Those of you who are watching us from right here, those of you who are watching us from afar, a pleasant evening to you. And we are on again for more on advancing the cause. I just want to start off this evening's program by saying to you, our viewers, call somebody, call a friend, call your neighbor, call your cousin, call your uncle, call your grandmother, tell them advancing the cause is on, and ask them to share the life too, so that we can have a very fruitful program here. You know, every time we're on advancing the cause, we give you what is factual, and many persons don't like what happens on advancing the cause. They get irritated when the truth is being told. But we don't have a problem with that. We will continue to share the truth, and we will continue to keep you updated with what's happening. On advancing the cause this evening, I want to share with us a very solemn moment. I want to let us know that today we said farewell to an icon, a great son of Guyana, a man with the heart of a giant, a friend, a motivator, an ambassador, a man who served this country selflessly and with distinction. Rashly Esmond Jackson, OR. Rest easy, buddy. We thank you for your service to this beautiful country of ours. You know, we can talk so much about Rashly Jackson, but I want to let us know that we will never have another Rashly Jackson. But what we can do to honor his memory is to ensure that the causes he fought for, that we continue to keep them alive. To his family, his immediate family, and that's his children, we want to thank you, Guyana. We want to thank you, Advancing the Cause team. We want to thank you for allowing us to have used the services of your dad. He was indeed a great man. May his soul rest in peace. As we continue on this program this evening, I want to quickly remind our viewers, to remind every one of you, that speeding kills. You know, just yesterday we lost 2 lives on the east coast of Demerara. 2 lives were lost. And we've had many others. But yesterday's accident, it drew memories of, let me not get too much into that, but I just want to caution us. Stop speeding. If you're in minibuses or the drivers are speeding, call out to them. Ask them to stop and allow you to get off. I noticed too, a car was speeding again on the east coast of Demerara, and that car crashed into a transformer pole, hitting that post down, the transformer, and so it would have caused quite a lot of inconvenience to the residents in the vigilance area. Friends, family, comrades, citizens of Guyana, and even those who are watching us from North America and the UK and everywhere else. Speeding kills. Let's use the road with care so that we would not be only saving our lives, but we'll be on the lookout for all the other road users who are not careful, so that we can save other lives. And then we move into the other highlight for this evening, and that is the issue of racial voting. Friends, here we need to stop dealing with issues on a race basis. If Guyana is to progress, then we have to look at issues, discuss issues, agree on issues, disagree on issues, and work towards making the lives of citizens in this country comfortable. We've got to stop that. We've got to demand betterment for us and our children. We've got to speak out on issues and stop dealing with issues based on political persuasion and on race. Too many things are happening. Our country is too divided, and we want to progress as a nation. Stop dealing with issues on the basis of race and political affiliation. And we have seen this over and over and over and over again. We've seen what transpired when we had the Quindon Bacchus's protest march, what transpired at Monrepos. We saw the actions of the president there, and we're yet to see the actions of the president in a village called Golden Grove. In other villages where the citizens there are predominantly Black. Come on. We are one people, one nation with one destiny. And let us stop making this thing out that we are one Guyana. We can't be one Guyana when we are doing all sorts of things. And we're showing blatantly that we're only looking out for one set of people. Guyana has got to move on. We have potentials, and we will continue to ensure that those potentials are developed while we strive to build or to rebuild the unity that has been broken by some selfish politicians. Yesterday again, we saw the observance of the second death anniversary of the Henry brothers. Well, not the Henry brothers, the Henry cousins. Yesterday, September 6th, marked the second death anniversary of the Henry boys. And up to a day like today, there is no justice that the families would have received for that the brutal killing of those two young boys, two young sons of the soil, would have lost their lives in the most brutal manner. But this evening, we really want to talk about education. And you know, this month we are celebrating Education Month as well as Amerindian Heritage Month. And so to my Amerindian brothers and sisters, happy Heritage Month. I do look forward to sharing in some of the festivities and to have some of the good food that you usually have. And so I'll be tapping into some of the places I usually tap into. But this is your month, and every month is your month. But this month especially, do enjoy, and let's be more in tune with some more of your culture and the contributions that you will continue to make for this beautiful land, or towards this beautiful land of ours. So we're going to be talking about education. We're going to be talking about what's happening in the education sector, the kinds of improvements we want us to have, and what we want to see happening with regards to the education practitioners and the buildings in which they perform their duties. And to help me do that, we are going to have the Honorable Natasha Singh Lewis, who would be joining us in a few. But before she comes in to join us, before she comes in, we are going to have an ad. Operative, you have that ad there. Could we have that one playing very quickly, which would be a special activity that we are having tomorrow. And so let's have that one before we bring on the Honorable Natasha Singh Lewis.
Since 1967, International Literacy Day has been observed annually around the world.
This year, International Literacy Day will be celebrated under the theme, Transforming Literacy Learning Spaces.
We, the members of the opposition, encourage you to join the rest of the country to drop
everything and read at 11 a.m. on Thursday, the 8th of September.
Reading is fundamental to learning and should not be ignored.
Even as we drop everything and read, let us take this opportunity to rethink the fundamental importance of literacy learning spaces, to build resilience and ensure quality, equitable and inclusive education for all.
Right. And so we had there that little ad talking about Literacy Day, International Literacy Day, which would be celebrated tomorrow. Tomorrow we're celebrating International Literacy Day. And what a way to encourage every single one of us to drop whatever we're doing at 11 o'clock and read something. Read to a child, read out loud, read to some of your friends. Just drop everything and read at 11 o'clock tomorrow. You know, they say knowledge is power, and we can only gain that power if we read. So I'm going to encourage you on behalf of the opposition of this country, on behalf of the coalition parties, I want to encourage you to drop everything and read. Honorable Natasha Singh Lewis is going to be joining us, and she's going to quickly give us a comment on this. The Honorable Natasha Singh Lewis, my favorite lady, it's always a pleasure to have you on Advancing the Cause. Good night and welcome again.
Good evening to you, Coretta Mcdonald. I feel special being welcome here. I feel like I'm a co-host on Advancing the Cause.
Okay.
Myself and Coretta Ferguson had fun a few Wednesdays ago on Advancing the Cause. And I can tell you, one of the things I really appreciate about Advancing the Cause is the interaction of your viewers in the comment section. Your viewers are very interactive, and you have a sense of how they feel about the content that you're delivering. And so I want to say a very good evening to all of your viewers this evening. I see some of Building Bridges viewers there too. So welcome and thank you.
You know, Natasha, this is what we do. We recognize that in order for us to make things better, to make this country a better country, to make every sector in this country a better sector, we have to collaborate. And so we don't have a problem sharing our space with each other. We don't have a problem sharing our viewers with each other because we understand the importance of working together. But Natasha, tomorrow is International Literacy Day, and so the world is going to be celebrating that. And of course, we here in Guyana can't be left behind. We have to be in tune with what's happening. And I noticed you were featured very prominently in that that little video that we showed there. How important do you think reading is? I mean, it might sound like a silly question, but how important do you think reading is to the development of one's ability to do whatever,
So, Coretta, that's an excellent question. I believe reading is fundamental to the development of any person, individual. I believe that reading is your gateway to higher education or to pursuing your path in life. I believe the role of parents in their children upbringing as it relates to reading is absolutely important. And we are asking as a country, as a nation, you would have seen that little ad there, a short 30 seconds ad done by the opposition on the Ministry of Education website. It is that serious. We have recognized that reading is not for one set of people. We have recognized the importance of reading and the development of every single Guyanese. And so we have decided to join hands together and re-emphasize the importance of reading. And so I am really happy. I've seen some comments on the video on the Ministry of Education website, but that says a lot to our nation. that when we are given an opportunity, we're always ready and able and willing to participate. And if it is as small as a 30 seconds ad to encourage the nation to read, we want to say to you that reading is fundamental to every human being's development. And so we should take that opportunity to do that. It might look like a very small thing to do tomorrow. I've seen teachers issuing statements to parents at 11 to drop what you're doing and read with your children for 5 to 10 minutes. We would say 15 minutes if you can, but don't let that be tomorrow at 11 alone. Let that be a part of what you do as an activity with your child. I was told at a very young age that you read to a child from the time the child is conceived in the mother's womb. And that child becomes an excellent reader when he enters the world and as he develops. And that's something that I encourage all of you. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece. You can pick up the newspapers and read. You can hold a child in your arms and you can read the textbooks that are given to them at nursery. Read a story, but read something with the child. It encourages the child to develop the habit of reading. The habit of reading takes a child to a different place in their life developmentally. And so, folks, take it tomorrow at 11. Make that time. 5 to 15 minutes. Take that time and read with a child.
Yes, and so I wanted to say a little more than this, Honorable Natasha St. Louis, that as an opposition party, we see reading as being important. We see collaboration as being very, very important. And so while we would have seen our partners on the other side boycotting events that they were invited to when the coalition was in government, or anything else that we have that we invite them to, they are boycotting it. We are showing that we are the more matured set of people. Reading is important, literacy is important. And so when we got the invitation from the Minister of Education, regardless of all that is happening, we jumped at this because we recognize that it's important and we need to collaborate. We need to say to not only our supporters, but to citizens across this country. Hence the reason for you being able to view that 30-minute promotion or ad or reminder, whatever you want to call it, that we collaborated with the ministry to have that being done. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure if I'm going to be letting the cat out of the bag, but that's okay. The leader of the opposition and some of his MPs are going to be reading with students, and they're going to be reading tomorrow at 11 o'clock. And I'm saying this because I want us to understand, not because we're not government of the day, that we don't see these things as being important. We value all of these events as being important. Amerindian Heritage Month, Education Month, Literacy Day, Cancer Awareness Day, all of these issues we value as being important, and we collaborate on them. So viewers, I hope that tomorrow you're going to join us at 11 o'clock. Join us at 11 o'clock and let's read. You can read for 2 minutes, you can read for 5 minutes, you can read for 10 minutes, but let's read something at 11 o'clock. Natasha, we're moving on from that. It's Education Month, and we've seen the commencement of the new school term. New school year, brand new academic school year. We've seen the pupils moving from nursery schools into primary school, into grade 1. We don't have the grade 6 yet moving over to the secondary school into grade 7, but we've seen movements in every class across the sector. So at the nursery, we have new intakes. We have grade one, year ones. In the primaries, we have grade ones. In the secondary, outside of the grade 7, we have the previous grade 7 going to grade 8 and grade 8 to grade 9 and 9 to 10, you know, and we've seen so many movements. But yet, with all of these movements, some of the fundamental things that we expected to see, we did not see them happening. I know the operator is queuing up some of those photographs that we have there. Like everything else, when we talk about a brand new year, we expect some old, some new. We patch up the old ones and make them look new again. And we expect that when we go out there, we are going out there refreshed, re-energized, re-motivated, reactivated, everything all in one. And excited to go out there as teachers and as pupils or students to learn more and to share with your colleagues and to share with your peers what you would have done during the August vacation, and you're all excited to be in your new classes. But it's quite amazing that we have not seen that same kind of enthusiasm coming from departments of education and departments of education across this country and regional democratic councils across this country. We've not seen that enthusiasm. Your take on that while the operator is queuing up those pictures?
I have to tell you that
Not this one yet, operator, not this one yet. Continue, sorry.
I have to tell you that what I have seen so far, and I've seen classrooms in almost every region of this country, where persons sends their photograph of their classrooms and they tell you what is happening. I have been receiving messages over the weekend before school opens. So I know on Monday morning, if I'm receiving messages on Saturday and Sunday, I know on Monday morning those situations will be the same as reported over the weekend. Now, it is important for us to understand the bigger picture. It is important for us to note what is happening. And it is important for us to be fair in our judgment. I have seen comments that when these photographs were posted of classrooms that are being cleaned on Monday morning, classrooms that cannot accommodate student learning. I have seen dilapidated steps and gutters and sheds. I have seen classrooms without windows. I mean, that is really not safe. I have seen classrooms across this country that are unsafe for our students and in particular our teachers. You know, we ask the teachers to go back to school to do face-to-face. We understand that there was COVID, the schools were locked down, but after 2 years, we cannot accept that as an excuse. We know that schools will be closed on the first week of July and school will open on the first week of September. We know these things. And, you know, I was having a conversation because I tend to want to lean on the side of teachers ever so often because I've been in the education system and I know that many times they are disadvantaged when the education officials, they just throw the blame on the schools. But I have been told time and time again, as recent as yesterday, Ms. Lewis, there is a procedure in the school that when something goes wrong, the head teacher immediately writes to the Department of Education. And they don't do that because they want to complain. They do that to protect their children, they do that to protect their teachers, and they do that to protect themselves. Because if something is wrong and they don't report it, it works against them. I say all of that to say to you that this, in my opinion, is a very simple matter to be resolved. And I don't understand what kind of planning or management is taking place at the government level. And I'm saying government instead of the Ministry of Education, because like Ms. McDonald said, at the regional level, the REXO and the chairman of the region, they are responsible in conjunction with the REDO of that region. They are all responsible for the safety and security of our children in the classroom. Tell me what kind of planning will take place if you don't look at the conditions reported for each school at each level in your region. Then how are you planning to accommodate them safely come September? You have 8 weeks. 8 weeks. And I understand the whole procurement system and awarding a contract when major works has to be done. But they are pre-qualifying contractors at the level of the region, and these things are not science. It's not rocket science for us to understand that you have to plan, you have to commit the finance. And on that point, I want to say to you, Ms. McDonald, at this point in our country, we should never, ever have to say that work is not being done because we don't have the funds to do it.
That is true.
So
And
we cannot justify why we are accommodating teachers and students in classrooms that are unsafe. I've seen a video from the president of the Ghana Teachers Union advising teachers that is not their responsibility to clean a classroom, to fix repair work in a classroom so that you can accommodate your students. I've seen that. And I join with him. Teachers and students should not be placed at risk. Who is going to take care of any medical that should come into play should anything happen to one of them? Teacher or student?
Natasha, I'm happy that you're mentioning the issues that you've mentioned. One, that of the coordination that we're supposed to be having with the Ministry of Local Government, who controls they control the RDCs, and the Ministry of Education. There seemed to be some breakaway there, because if we were coordinating, then both of us, both ministers, would have been talking to each other, saying, look, we have, and let me say this, the schools that have been listed for renovations, it did not happen last week. They were not listed last week. They were not listed the week before. These were identified a while ago. So we knew a long time that we had repair works to be done in several schools across this country. So it was the responsibility of the minister, it is the responsibility of the ministers to ensure that you work collaboratively to make sure that come September 5th, all is well within the schools. But I think we seem to have some power control and power struggle somewhere. And in the end, what is happening is that our children, our teachers, they're the ones, and our parents, we can't leave them out, they're the ones who are suffering for the inaction or non-action of senior government functionaries. And you know what is disgusting? What is disgusting is the fact that these very two ministers, they find time to abuse out everybody on social media, on Facebook. That's what they do. Rather than getting involved in constructive business, they find time to abuse everybody out on Facebook. But they're neglecting their responsibility. They're neglecting, they stood there and they took an oath, but yet they're not doing what they ought to do. And so the result is, just today again, I hope the operator has those pictures now queued up. I saw a nursery school students, pupils sitting there, and the child is pulling her leg, not this one. The child, yes, this one here. Sand, plenty dust. You know why that is happening? Cheap work. Cheap work. more sand than cement. And these are the issues that we are going to have when we do hurry up work. These very issues. And you know what would be the end result? Our children are going to develop all kinds of problems. Now, when you put the tiles on that, after a while, the tiles will start shifting and shifting and shifting. But what we are seeing here is another school, and this is the toilet block, the sanitary block, where the sanitary block was flooded on Monday. This sanitary block was flooded on Monday. On Monday, the first day of school, this sanitary block was flooded, which is saying to us that no work whatsoever was done here, even though several letters were written by the head teacher of that school. Your comment, Honorable St. Louis.
This is just disgusting, McDonald. These photographs, and I've seen worse than this. It's just disgusting, and I want to bring to our viewers. You said that there is lack of collaboration between the ministers, and I want to share the two ministries. It is the Ministry of Education, and the Minister of Education is Priya Manichan, and the Ministry of Local Government. The Minister of Local Government is Nigel Darmlal, and his ministry has two ministers. I can't remember the other guy's name, but I've seen him in
Anand Prasad.
Anand Prasad. I've seen him not doing local government work from the ministry, but I've seen him in Albert Town, walking around doing house to house, checking people's name on the list. I don't think he got his terms of reference as yet from the government as a minister of government, or he would have been doing checks at the schools with the regional chair and the REXO to ensure that these schools are in order. That is what we have working for us in government, an oil-producing nation, where we can't get our schools right, despite the billions of dollars given to the Ministry of Education since February of this year. There should be no issue with access to finance to fix these schools. There should be no problem. But what we have seen for all the months, 2 years, what we have seen is mismanagement, incompetence, discrimination. And these are the results. But when we talk about it, people say because we're in opposition, you have to do that, you have to badmouth them. But this is the evidence of mismanagement. This is the evidence of incompetence. Why is it a child has to go to school and to go use the washroom has to walk through water to get to the washroom? That is unhygienic. And those are little children. When are we going to get it right? You understand? When are we going to get it right? I was told at the school in, I think it's West Rumvelt, the cleaner is fetching water 2 stairs up to flush the toilets. That's a plumbing issue that could have been easily fixed in a day. It cannot be that difficult. Or we just don't care. We just don't care about the system, the people, and the stakeholders involved.
I ask the operator to continue to show the pictures so that our viewers can see what is happening. What you're seeing there, viewers, that's garbage as of Monday in the school compound. It's still there because I passed there today and I saw that there again. Garbage in one of our school compound. This should have been cleaned ever since. But you know why why we still having these kinds of stuff in the school? It is because as recent as Friday, contracts were signed. Contractors signed the contract to begin work in schools. So you had Saturday and Sunday. Monday you had this. This is another issue, a plumbing issue, where you have a huge tank at a school, but what? It's not connected anywhere. So there's no water, there's limited access to water in that school with over 400 and something or more than that, the population of that school. More garbage in our schools. And this, it's disgusting. Very, very disgusting. And we talk about an oil producing nation with
Well,
all the money.
I have
Go
to
ahead.
tell you about the region I come from, Region 5. There's a comment here that says, and it's coming from Ithaca Primary School, there's an electrical problem in the upper flat of that school since last school year. Since last school year, the problem was reported. The regional electrician came only to say that they didn't bring a long enough ladder. A new academic year has started and the problem is still there. And that is an electrical problem where we don't see electricity. Our students and teachers and managers are left in an environment that is risky for them, unsafe for them.
You know, Natasha, I want to say, let me say this. In spite of all of these conditions that are prevailing and that teachers have to work under and students have to endure, our teachers continue to give of their best. They are dedicated and committed to this job of teaching, to this profession. And as a result of that, you see the scores we get when our CSEC results are out, when our CAPE results are out, when our grade 6 assessment results are out. We see the works of our teachers. And I want to take this opportunity to say thank you. Heartfelt thank you to our teachers across this country. You continue to make us proud, even though you have not received your clothing allowance, even though you have not received any promotions because of the absence of the Teaching Service Commission. You continue to work, you continue to work selflessly to ensure that our nation's children are engaged all the time, and that you continue to instill in them the right attitudes and right values, and to develop their potentials so that they can become future leaders of this country. Teachers, we thank you. Parents, we thank you too. But the thing is, Natasha, we got to change the status quo. We got to change it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I want to join with you, Ms. McDonald, in wishing our students all the very best. Congratulations to all of you. Whether you've gotten 27 subjects, you've gotten 10 subjects, or you've gotten 5 subjects. Some of you got 3 subjects. Some of you didn't get all your subjects in grade 1, but you know you made an effort. And congratulations to you. And like I said Monday last on Building Bridges, I joined with the union in asking that our teachers be given consideration like all other sectors, the agriculture sector. So the farmers had their money, Gaisuku workers got money, but the teachers and the nurses and so on, they continue every single day to go to work without any recognition, without any assistance in doing what they have to do. And so I say to them, carry on, do what you have to do. The time is near, change is gonna come, and we will have to work with all of you to build this nation. Let's continue to work. I want to also say on the issue of subjects, I've had 2 complaints so far of parents demoralizing their children because they were disappointed with their grades. I know of one parent who actually beat the child because she was disappointed in the grades that she saw. And my heart poured out. I have dedicated tomorrow to go and visit. It's out of my region, but I'm going to go and visit with that parent, because I can understand that you have made a significant contribution. You dedicated time, effort, and resources into your child. and you were disappointed. But just imagine how disappointed that child is, given they try their best and that's their ability. We have to be better than just beating children because it didn't turn out the way we wanted. All of our fingers are not equal, and some of us can do well, like 27 subjects with all the SBAs and everything, and some of us will do well with our hands. And so we must appreciate that God didn't make us all the same way. And so for those of you who are parents, I am begging you to be more considerate of your child's ability. I am so concerned that we've come out of COVID and we have not been able to give our teachers any psychosocial support. We have not been able to give our teenagers any psychosocial support, but we've gone straight back into the system with a brand new
With
academic year,
with monkeypox, Natasha, with monkeypox.
and we pretend as if society is normal, and we just forget the damages done to our psyche in the last 2 years, and we pretend that the teachers are perfect and they will continue as if everything is all right. It is not all right. And so a little bit of empathy on the part of the teachers, on the part of parents, on the part of the head teacher, the Department of Education, a little bit of empathy will go a far way as we continue to move the system.
Operator, could we ask you to play that ad again while as we continue to remind our viewers, our parents, everyone to drop everything and read at 11 o'clock tomorrow?
Since 1967, International Literacy Day has been observed annually around the world.
This year, International Literacy Day will be celebrated under the theme Transforming Literacy Learning Spaces.
We, the members of the opposition, encourage you to join the rest of the country to drop everything and read at 11 a.m. on Thursday, the 8th of September.
Reading is fundamental to learning and should not be ignored.
Even as we drop everything and read, let us take this opportunity to rethink the fundamental importance of literacy learning spaces, to build resilience and ensure quality, equitable and inclusive education for all.
Thank you. Again, let us drop everything and read. Let us drop everything at 11 o'clock and read. Natasha Singh-Lewis, we've spoken so much about the conditions of this school, and I have to say it. Minister Manik Chan should go. Minister Dharmlal should go, because it seems as if the future generation of this country, that they are not important. It seems as if our children are not important. But you know what I find? Gosh. I find these people to be so hypocritical. And that's what I can't take. You see them bounced up all over the place with and they're brass, and they're boasting about the 27 subjects and how well we've done and so on. But what did you put into that? What did they put into that? A whole lot of misery. And we have got to call these people out. All of them, they run around the place and they want to give bouquets here and bouquets there and all kinds of things and to make the big announcement. But what are you doing in terms of molding our children? What are you doing? What are you doing to assist our teachers? You have schools where teachers are crying out. New term, new school year has started with a new term, and they can't have materials. Or if they have some materials, limited amount of materials. I remember a school in the hinterland, the head teacher there is saying to me, Miss, we got 1 bottle of bleach, 2 bottles of Bright Bold, 2 bottles of Fabuloso disinfectant. They got a packet of soap powder, I think a mop or something like that. And the population of that school is 446.
Wow.
And that's to take them through for the term. I mean, what are we doing? Something is definitely wrong with this system. Something is definitely wrong with the people who are managing the system. And I agree with you, MP Natasha Singh Lewis, about the mismanagement that we're having all the time. Mismanagement in every corner. Every single corner we are having mismanagement. I've noticed, I'm coming off of education for a while, but it's important and it links to education. I've noticed in many communities, there is rationing of water. So we got to send Sheikh Bash home, and we got to send the minister who has responsibility for that home too. Rationing of water when schools are supposed to be in session now. Outside of that, we have, well, don't talk about what's happening with our transportation. Yeah. Don't talk about what is happening with our transportation.
I noticed, I'm going to deal with it differently. I noticed the Minister of Education making a post with somebody's comment this afternoon. In her comments, she is saying that the PPP government has done more for people, for stakeholders, for the children, in terms of supplying buses. Now, I can't use a bad word, but that is a lot of nonsense. And people must get that right. It is nonsense. This is the fact. The 5Bs program was fully funded by private sector. Not a dollar came out of government coffers. So first fact is, all of the buses that the government is putting on the road for school children is coming out of the coffers of government.
Yes.
The 5Bs program, the buses were given to us free because it was a partnership with the government and the private sector. So let me get that one straight. Let me also, it's running up to program time, but we still have to talk about this
we have
breakfast program. As we've started to talk about the 5Bs. The 5Bs, I believe, was buses, boats, bicycle, breakfast, and bags. It was the APNU AFC government that ensured that students in the hinterland and some schools on the coastline were given breakfast. And we did not, I saw the operator with the photograph earlier, we did not give children their snack, their breakfast wrapped in a plastic. We did not give the children the juice in a plastic bag.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
And I made a comment about it today.
MP Natasha Singh Lewis, let me hold you there. December 29th of 2021.
Look at that.
There was an uproar in Parliament, and that uproar was caused because we, the members of the opposition, and the citizens all across this country, including the private sector, felt that we hadn't enough time to pass that Natural Resources Fund. As a result of the uproar, 8 opposition parliamentarians were suspended, and our colleagues were suspended because we resisted. And yes, Natasha is one of those parliamentarians. She's one of our colleagues. We resisted the passing of that bill. But today we are seeing at Hampton Court primary, after all those monies would have been passed in the National Assembly and more, we are seeing our pupils being given juice cool down in a plastic bag and a snack right on the table, not even a piece of paper towel. Natasha Lewis, continue.
I really got some bad things to say because, for one, Priya Manik-Chan does not give her children breakfast like that.
You don't know me. That what is happening there says a lot about the persons who are heading the ministries.
And you know, Coretta, I have always said in politics, children are off the table for me. I don't comment. That's my position. But when I saw that today, I asked myself, I know that's not my standard, right? My children don't have breakfast like that. And I will not accommodate anybody's child to have breakfast in a juice in a plastic bag and a sandwich wrapped up in plastic and on the table. And my comment today on Facebook was, in my days, we were taught so many things in one concept, right? And I was trying to get that point, and I don't know what is happening with the literacy of our society today. And I said it very clearly. In my time in primary school, we had a rag and we spread it neatly on the table, on the desk, and we placed our snack there and we had our snack. These children had nothing like that. You don't know if the desk that they have their snack on, if it was wiped, if it is clean, if it is sanitized, but it's just there. I mean, aren't we concerned about their health?
If the operator, Natasha, if the operator could bring that photograph up again for us. I want people to see exactly what is happening there. And this is not saying to us that where they are, that space that they're occupying is an area that was prepared for them to do that. That space there is the classroom. So after you would have been writing and you did your work for the morning session, or when it was the afternoon, it would have been the morning session. You were probably dismissed, and this is what you were given. Now, I don't want to blame the persons who are presenting the stuff there. I think I'm seeing maybe a student there just doing the distribution. I don't want to blame them. Persons will give what they are given.
Yes.
And so all these monies that we're talking about and all this big fancy gallop with Priya about, for the first time ever, breakfast to grade 6 children, first time. She's always a first time girl. Always a first time girl. Wherever it is, she's always a first time girl.
Yeah.
With all this first time, look the presentation. And this falls squarely at the feet of Priya Manikchan. I don't care what anybody else is saying.
Because the school feeding program falls directly under the Ministry of Education. It's funded by the ministry. But you know, an interesting comment, Adam Harris commented on my post today. And he said, Natasha, aren't we supposed to be teaching these children etiquette? I remember that's one of the concepts. While you have your snack, the teacher ensured that you wash your hands. The teacher ensured that you spread your rag. And so while it just happens to be snack time, you are learning so many things. They form our values in school. School is an extension of home. They spend almost 8 hours there. So what mommy and daddy did not teach you, the teacher in the classroom is left to do that. Everything we do is an opportunity to teach our children the right thing, the better way. That cannot be the better way to have breakfast. It cannot be. And you know, I managed the comments on this post today, and some people are saying that, oh God, what else the government got to do for please are you? Just do it right. Just do it right. If it is the contract that you have to renegotiate and word it properly so that the children are given a little bit of respect in the food that they're given, put that in there. It's like we don't care, as Adam Harris says, hey, take them. We don't care. You know, we have to earn the respect of this young generation, and then they will grow up respecting others because we made the best decision for them now. And you know what? This is Essequibo. This is Essequibo, where the PPP gets most of their votes. This is Region 2. And that's how they're treating their people. Imagine. It's horrible to say that. To say that the least, but if they're not taking care of their support base, do you think they will take care of a base that doesn't support them? No way.
Well, you know, Natasha, this is
our children should never be subjected to that.
Well, Natasha, you know, this is what we've been saying all along, that the PPP only want to use you at elections time. After that, they are back to friends, family, and favorites. That's who they care. That's only who they care about. They don't care about anybody else. But while we are going on about this here, it goes to show how these people are two-mouthed and two-sided. You know, in Georgetown, we saw when the minister launched this program yesterday, we saw packet juice. You remember that? And I saw lots and lots of persons commenting and saying, you're having your snack with juice when you should have had a glass of hot milk. You know, but we saw packet juice, and this is how they continue to fool people in this country. When they do in one part, they show you a glorious photograph, and in the other parts where they think photographs are not going to be taken, you get a slam dash. That's how they treat you. Well, if this is happening in Region 2 in Hampton Court,
somebody did a comparison and sent it to me. Manichan went to Linden, which is the coalition base, to show the world that she's taking care of the other side. And then, whoops, we saw this one today. Yes. And this is her base. I want the people to take note of that.
Yes. And so I was going to say, if this is what is happening on the Essequibo coast, I could imagine what happening at Paramacatoy, and what is happening in Cato, and what is happening at Moruca. I could imagine what is happening there. Because you know what? All the big fanfare that you displayed in Linden, because you know there are going to be cameras all around there to catch you. You think that they don't have cameras, but I want the folks to know. Let me put you on alert that our people got sense.
Yeah.
And they understand that lots and lots of monies are plugged into this school feeding business, and they are going to continue to expose you, because we've said it before and I'm going to say it again. It's a whole lot of corruption, it's a whole lot of thieving, it's a whole lot of ciphering off, and they're doing that to the detriment of our children. They stand in the National Assembly and make glorious statements. They stand in their offices or sit in their offices and make glorious statements and always want to cuss out the opposition and the coalition. But this, I'm happy that we are seeing what is happening in our school system. Where are we with our education? Natasha, very quickly, I got some info this afternoon, some added info this afternoon. And again, I'm wondering whether we want to churn out quality or we want to churn out quantity. Here is it. We have between 3,000 to 4,000 trainee teachers who are enrolled at CPC, I guess, across the country, and they're working online. The complaints we are receiving from many of these trainee teachers are, one, lecturers are logging in, they put work there for you to do, and they disappear. One of the complaints. Second complaints, very often you don't have these same lecturers to explain to the students. They don't have anybody to explain to them what they have to do, so they're at a loss. Third complaint, third concern I got from some folks is that students are absent from schools, but then particular students, calls are being made for particular students to be given scores when they don't present work. Calls are made. One complaint I got this afternoon said, at the last graduation, a student missed an entire semester, but that student was given marks, 75% score she was given, and she was allowed to graduate. Where are we? Now, I don't want to blame our lecturers too much. I don't want to blame them, but I'm going to throw some blame on them as well. But the thing is, when you continue to pay lecturers, what is it, $1,000 an hour, might be less than that an hour to teach, you can't get the best from them. While some would stretch themselves, you would not get the best from a whole lot of them. And so I'm not going to blame them. I am going to blame the system who don't see the importance of people's labor. Again, where are we? We're not hearing any sound from you, Natasha. No sound.
Sorry. I can only address that from a system perspective. And I can tell you that quality will always be preferred over quantity. Quantity is fine, but we understand that every time you raise the bar, you raise the number, whatever your product is, every time you increase that number, the quality diminishes. In such an instance, the Cyril Potter College of Education is supposed to have a quality assurance mechanism internally, because there exists, CPC is considered a post-secondary institution because they offer, I think it's an associate degree.
Yes.
Right? And that's what defines you. Your level of offering defines you where you are. The external agency to ensure that things like that don't happen in the college is the National Accreditation Council. That council is a semi-autonomous agency reporting to the Ministry of Education. Here again, there must be a coordinating mechanism between the minister, the external agency, and the college. If you want to have better performing teachers, qualified teachers, teachers who are able to deliver as you expect them to deliver, then the process has to be verified. And there's an entire process called the review of the teaching and learning process, in which you have qualified people go through the system. I can tell you if those complaints are accurate, that there is no quality assurance system internally at the college. And I can tell you that we have moved from our normal mode of delivery at the college to online. Now that's a whole different ballgame by itself that needs an entirely independent quality assurance system to ensure that what you say you're going to do actually happens and you have quality teachers as your output. It's as simple as that. There's no rocket science. But ask them, where are they? Ask them where they're with that system. And you see, another 2-3 years, we're going to have the product of this mismanagement in our school system.
Yep.
And at that point in time, Coretta, at no point in time should the teachers who are students now, should they be made to be blamed.
I was just going to say that.
No, not at all. They are good. Students are going to be students. Whether they are teachers, they're at a master's level, they are going to be students, and we know what happens. But the system should be so robust that as soon as something happens, it's reported, it's fixed. And I've seen Will Campbell said at the beginning of the term, teachers, if your job becomes the thing that pays your bill, and you don't have a love for it anymore, walk away. Because teachers do what they do because of the love of it. And I understand that teachers are the most underpaid and unrecognized servants we have in this country, and we have to do a lot more. But understand that it's not okay to pass through a broken system and be a shining star. That's 1 in a million. This is something that the college itself needs to address. They have the ability to address it.
Natasha Singh Lewis and viewers, I'm reading here comments that are sent to me. This is a lecturer addressing me here. She says, Miss McDonald, we, the lecturers, are committed to what we do. We want to work, but we don't have the tools with which we can work. And we try to do as far as possible what we can do. So you see what we're saying? The people are willing to work, Even though they're being underpaid, they're willing to work, but they're not being provided with the tools. She went on further to say, and if you talk up too much, because some of us are on contracts, they will pull your contracts.
Yeah.
Apartheid system.
Yeah.
Apartheid state we're in. And you notice how much we're getting out of this. I'm also seeing here where another person has messaged me to say, Miss McDonald, well, you're here, nothing yet. Imagine home economics is being done via Zoom. Wow, where are we? Where are we? I'm hoping Priya Manik-Chan listening to this program, you know. I'm hoping that she's listening.
I know she does. I know
I
she
am
watches.
really hoping that she's listening and that changes are going to be made immediately. How can we have a subject like home economics being done via Zoom? How do we guide our students? They're sewing and all kind of thing. The person going on to tell me that they're doing needlework. How you know they're doing the right stitch? How you know it's not somebody do it for them and they come in here and the student? I'm not saying, you know, that our trainee teachers are dishonest, but you have to be there with them. There are certain things that we can't do online. Priya, if you're watching, girl, just make the changes. If you don't know how, ask, and we are going to help you. Put away your pride, because what we are doing here, what we're attempting to do here is to offer recommendations and to offer solutions so that our trainee teachers, when they would have graduated, they are going to be the best. And as they continue in the profession, they are going to climb to higher heights. And we're not churning out numbers, we are churning out quality. That's what we're churning out. And I know Priya's got an obsession with numbers. Oh, we are training 5,000 teachers. Oh, we are training 3,000 teachers. And this year, the college has enrolled the not largest batch of, and you can do nonsense to mess these people up. These people have approached the college because they want to be of relevance. They want to be important. They want to impart, to develop first themselves and then to be able to impart it to our students and our pupils. Don't fail them. Don't fail them at all. For this education month, let's use the entire month to make the necessary changes we have to make in one, our teacher training, two, with what is happening in our schools. We don't want to see cool down plastic bags with juice. We don't want to see that. That's for when they're buying it on the roadside, not in the schools. That's not the kind of quality that we want to display. And if that's what you want to you're comfortable with, I mean, I feel bad, because you know what? These pictures are going all over the world, and teachers from other territories are asking, Coretta, is this the same thing that we saw yesterday? They will ask me that. So let's take a pause, as one of my colleagues would say, marsh breaks. Rethink our strategies. And if you can't do it properly, my grandmother would say, if you can't do something and do it properly, don't do it at all. So if you can't distribute and share these meals, whether it's hot or cold or lukewarm meals, properly, don't do it. We don't want cool down plastic bags in our schools, because you know what we're teaching our children? It's okay to have cool down plastic bags. Let's teach them properly. Yeah. And here is where incidental teaching would take place, because when they see you present their snacks properly, they go home and they talk about it. But when they don't see anything, they see the regular things happening, it doesn't impact them
at all.
Our education sector is an important sector, and we're the ones who make the changes. We're the ones who create the professions. And if we want to have proper chefs, then we got to start teaching them the right things in school. If we want to have dedicated and committed nurses and policemen and teachers and doctors and so on, we have to teach them the right things in school. Don't be like some of the people who do that.
Mavis Schall said, the confusion is the coalition has set a high standard in education. So it's very difficult to continue the progress and keep up at that standard. I want to believe Mabel is true, you know, because we can do that.
And that's why I'm saying if Priya needs help, Dr. Nicolette Henry is around. She can offer the help to you. And there are so many others around who can offer the help to you. One of the complaints we've been getting too, Natasha, is that many of our education officers, they're being told to stand down, stand down, stand down. Many of them have been redesignated from their positions, and they're placed in other positions where they're not even relevant, because they're the ones who are qualified and they know how to do stuff, but they have been redesignated based on so-called political affiliation. They've been redesignated because you can't control them. They've been redesignated because in some instances they don't look like you. Where are we?
You hence the result of those actions will appear as incompetence. But I know our education system, we have qualified people. We have people who can do this work. Sometimes I wonder what has happened. But now you're given an explanation for where those people might be and what's happening. I have no problem with allowing young people to come up and gain experience, but we cannot let the folks who are experienced sit aside and watch the nonsense go on. We cannot. That's not good for nation building at all.
And you know what is happening too, Natasha? We have quite a lot of our education officers and quite a lot of our head teachers and quite a lot of our senior teachers who are opting for early retirement. And they're saying they're fed up with the system. They can't take it anymore because when you speak out, you're being victimized. And so they're opting to get out of the system, some of them. And some of them are saying, well, look, I only got a few mornings more. I will tarry. I ain't talking. Let them do what they want to do. But when we have all of these things happening, it is saying to us two things. One, we are moving very quickly, or I guess we're already there, into that apartheid state. And secondly, our children are suffering, who are going to be the future leaders of tomorrow. So when tomorrow comes around, and we don't have proper leaders, we can't condemn them. We have to blame ourselves because we were the ones who would have been responsible for that.
We didn't take care of them.
No.
Barbara Taylor, I want you to say to me which school, which region this is. Barbara is saying today's breakfast was Kool-Aid in a plastic bag and chana. But didn't we sit at that table as a management team and say that a nutritious meal must be given to the children, regardless of their age? A nutritious meal. How is Kool-Aid something nutritious? How is that?
Look, Natasha. Today is what, the 7th day, I think, is the 7th of, yes, it's the 7th of September. Yeah. We still have 23 more days. It's 30 days September got, yes. We still have 23 more days to go. I have to ensure that I'm correct with what I'm saying. We still have 23 days more to go in this span of education month. So I'm hoping that we're going to have all these, or most of these issues, or particularly the issue of the break fast or the snack or whatever it is you want to give to them, that we have that aspect corrected. Again, let me say, if Minister Manik Chan doesn't know what to do, call in the people who know. We got Carnegie there. We got, which other school we got there? We got all the schools that are doing home ec, the schools that are doing home economics. Get the teachers to plan out with you what a balanced diet looks like. You can't have chana and Kool-Aid. What happened to the fruit?
Yeah.
Come on. Let them plan out for you what a menu should look like, and you implement that. I know you might have gone out there to your friends and your families and some of your favorites and take a whole lot of things from the shops and so. But tell them
we have to exchange it and
proper things.
What you're saying there is supposed to be in the contract that is awarded to the person who's providing the breakfast. You have to have your conditions for rolling out this breakfast, or this will happen. The person will give to the school whatever they feel like, And the teacher is no business of the teacher to question, because the teacher is not involved in the award of the contract or the negotiation. The teacher's job is to ensure that the students sit and eat and they get a breakfast in the morning. So I don't understand. Incompetence. I don't know what else to say. It's incompetence.
Now, Natasha, this brings another aspect into play. Now, the Kool-Aid. In my mind just raced off. Where did we get the water from that we made this Kool-Aid drink with? Did we just turn on the tap and fill a bucket and start sweetening this thing and throwing that Kool-Aid? Where did we get the water from? So, we have got to keep our hands on this aspect here and ensure that we go out there and visit schools. And if we can't visit the schools, we get people to watch to see who are the providers, the conditions under which these meals are being used, or snacks are being provided.
The contract, but we don't know who's
because the health of our children is important. It is important. Natasha, we are winding down to program time, and I know we don't want to take up too much of Sherrod's time, but I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Natasha. We're going to do this more often because this entire month is Education Month, and we have to get it right. We got to fix it right. Our monies, the monies that are being spent, they don't belong to anybody. They are the taxpayers' money. It's not Priya Manikchan taking monies out of her pocket and spending it there. I know she would, she sometimes gloat over these things, and I'm calling her name very often. But she really doesn't understand why I have to call her name often, But she thinks it's fun. Oh, you hear Coretta? Every minute she calling my name. Every minute she calling my name. But I have to call your name. You are the person sitting in that ministry. You are the person heading that ministry. And again, if you don't know, there is help out there, and you can ask. The good book says, ask and it shall be given unto you. So ask. And so I want to thank Natasha. I want to thank our viewers. Without you, we would have no advancing the cause. Thank you for your comments. I know that some of you would want to write your comments openly, but you are scared because your names are there and you are scared. But it's okay for you to send me them individually, and I thank you for that. Let's look forward to having more on Advancing the Cause next week, Wednesday, at the same time. Again, let me say to you, we have monkeypox now, so you need to wear your mask. You need to encourage others to wear their mask. Sanitize as often as possible. Stay away from huge crowds. Additionally, I want to ask our motorists to be careful on the roadways. To be careful. Report when you see drivers are speeding the roads. If you're in buses and they're speeding, ask them to stop and allow you out of the buses. We want to have you here because we got plenty resources, and we want you to enjoy the good life. We want you to be there because very soon the coalition is going to be heading government again, and we want you to be part of that good life that we're having. Natasha, your closing thoughts.
Thank you very much for having me on Advancing the Cause. I want to say happy Indigenous Month to our brothers and sisters. I am looking forward to going up to Oriala sometime during the month. I wanted to go to the Rupununi. I am working on that. Not sure how that will go, but those are two areas that I really enjoyed. Right in Region 4 here, Pakuri is an awesome place, folks. If you can visit, it's an awesome place. I particularly like Lethem. I like the south central of Rupununi. Sholinab is an awesome place. And you can go to Oriala Superuta. Coretta, we must go to these Indigenous villages and celebrate with our brothers and sisters, our teachers, our Indigenous people. The PVP say that they love the Indigenous people. But you go this week and ask them how they're doing in school with the resources, with their the condition of their school, and then you will judge for yourself. So, folks, it's a whole month of activities for Heritage Month. I don't partake in the Paiwari, but I really do like going out and meeting with the people and talking to them, and I will do some of that. Thank you for having me on Advancing the Cause.
And once again, thank you all for being here with us. Operator, if you can play that 30-second ad for us to take us out of the show, we'd be very happy. But folks, see you again next Wednesday. It was a joy to having you on Advancing the Cause. Again, I forgot to express birthday wishes to all those who would have celebrated birthdays. Happy birthdays to you. May God continue to bless you. For those of us who are grieving the loss of loved ones, our sincere and heartfelt condolences to you. And again, we trust that God is going to grant you the comfort that you need even at this time. We see you next week again. Operator?
Since 1967, International Literacy Day has been observed annually around the world.
This year, International Literacy Day will be celebrated under the theme Transforming Literacy Learning Spaces.
We, the members of the opposition, encourage you to join the rest of the country to drop everything and read at 11 a.m. on Thursday, the 8th of September.
Reading is fundamental to learning and should not be ignored.
Even as we drop everything and read, let us take this opportunity to rethink the fundamental importance of literacy learning spaces, to build resilience and ensure quality, equitable and inclusive education for all.
Thank you for watching our program. See you right back here, same place, same time. And remember, hold the line of battle, comrades. Our victory is sure.